Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Earthlings. Hope you're all having a fabulous day. We meet again, and today is the anniversary, in my opinion, of the day that Harry Windsor ruined his life 6 years ago. So let's just sum it up. 6 years, that's quite a long time, isn't it? He was admired. He was a member of the British royal family. He was doing good works. He had privilege, position. He had everything. And to quote someone I used to know, an ex-boyfriend of mine, oddly enough, said this to me once: you can't drag them up, Fiona. They will always drag you down. And now, where is Harry? Well, quite frankly, they have become the Duke and Duchess of announcements. That's all they do. They announce things. We're going to do this. 40 by 40. We're going to do that. We're going to do the other. But nothing ever actually happens or comes of it, does it? And now he's cadging freebie flights from some Nigerian guy who allegedly is a fugitive. I don't know. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. And he himself, I suppose, just cannot face it. And, I suppose he's taking his marriage vows very, very seriously. I guess that's the only commendable thing that one can take from it. And there are children. Okay, don't set on me in the comments. I'm not going there. But 2 children, and however they may have come to be, and I suppose he feels some responsibility or obligation, of course. But in this day and age, lots of couples do divorce. Charles and Diana, of course, divorced. Other members of the royal family have, but then I suppose there's pride messing with him. Graham always found it quite interesting that the date they chose to get married on is also the anniversary of Anne Boleyn having her head cut off in the Tower of London. Was that a private joke with the royal family, or did Harry and Meghan actually choose that date themselves? I don't know. It is a bit of an ominous date, isn't it? Not only for Anne Boleyn, but also for Harry. He's now married to someone who tows him around with a sort of an invisible ring through his nose and a chain, looking at images where she is front and centre and he's standing behind looking all embarrassed and awkward, and he doesn't know what to do or what to say. He is the royal blood in that marriage, not her. She's an ex-cable TV actress who, when they first got engaged, I went to look on Netflix on Suits, and I scanned through, and she was there with a one-liner. Each episode she was in, it was just a one-liner. I think someone actually added up how many minutes she actually performed in Suits, and despite being in 10 seasons, I don't think it even added up to 1 hour. So he's the royal blood. He's the royal connection. And this is all playing out on the world stage. That's how it looks to me, that she is just literally using him and towing him around like a puppet, like a performing seal. And in 6 short years, on that day 6 years ago when they got married, as they were coming out of the chapel, and the kiss and everything, did Harry realise that within 2 years he would be leaving the royal family, that there would be world headlines? Did he know? Was he aware? Oh, probably not, actually, was he? Probably not. How many years have we had the sugars inflicted on us? And their lunacy. I see they're ramping up ridiculous rumours about the Princess of Wales. I'm not even going to repeat those ridiculous rumours. And then we've got this little twat-a-lanta that the Duchess of Sussex and I have been uncovering and paying a lot of attention to, has Ian Sexton following it. Speaking of which, no, the Home Office didn't come and arrest me. They still haven't come and arrested me. And I don't think they've gone and arrested the Duchess of Sussex either. No. Surprise, surprise, isn't it? And the same ridiculous little sugar, Bunyan's something or other, is now claiming as has been claimed a long time, that the Duchess of Sussex is from the enemy camp, and that's why her name was in the Netflix docuseries. Yeah, right. Because if you've got a spy in the enemy camp, best to blow them out of the water on your own Netflix show. I don't think so. And she doesn't strike me as a lady who is afraid to speak her mind, and neither am I. And now apparently I am good friends with someone called Ruth Ann. I can assure you I am not. Ruth Ann was booted out of the Discord group by Rhea Snakespeare, I think last year. She's a very, very rude lady. And no, I don't have anything to do with her, and neither does the Duchess of Sussex. And while we're on the subject of sugars, I'd just like to state for the record as well that I do not own any of the following Twitter accounts: at Arcadia of 68222, at Pretty Blingy 8, at, oh and I love this one, Hesketh V24798, or at Arcadia of 28506. It would appear that the sugars, every account that they don't like on Twitter, is either me or the Duchess of Sussex. I think maybe they're not very happy with a lot of the developments that have come forth over the last 7 days. We've made a lot of progress with the sugars, and we shall continue to do so. Rest assured of that. So the new ploy is to pretend that the Duchess and I are here to try and break up the Megxit community. Really? Is that the best that they can come up with? Well, they've been trying it with Narc for quite a long time. And it is laughable bullshit. Complete bullshit. But I get the impression that somebody who has received money from Boozy and Data is getting a little nervous that a lot of people are starting to look in their direction. And so they need to throw some shade somewhere else. Now, to that person, and I know you watch all my videos, I have never said your name publicly. I have never outed you. Don't press my button, lady. You go back, you find anywhere where I have outed you. Anyway, so then we get back to Hazza. I mean, he's surrounded by these toxic, poisonous little sugars. Meghan's popularity apparently has plummeted even further. I don't know how it could get any lower in the UK. And she's not bothered. She's not bothered because she's going to focus on her popularity in America. Her jam, her Arcadia, what is it called? Orchardia. Oh, God, I can't remember. Americana Orchard Riviera. I think that's right. Well, I had a look this morning, and it seems to have arrested at 617,000 followers. That's really quite pitiful for someone who's world famous. And how many of those followers are even real? Well, I don't know, they probably are, because if they were fake, why not just keep buying more? Or has she now dumped that idea of the jam and the tea towels and the oven gloves and all that? I don't know. And then I also see that there's puff pieces threatening that the royal family live in terror of Meghan publishing her own memoirs about her infinitesimally short time in the royal family. I would say to the royal family, let her publish and be damned, Meghan. If that is true, if that's what you're thinking of doing, if you want to make yourself even more unpopular, go for it. The royal family have survived far, far worse. I'm sure they're not worried about a book from you. And then in the same breath, I see other puff pieces where Harry is desperate to reconnect with his father, who has cancer. Desperate, I bet. Now, I've seen this before, about a year ago, and they do this, and then when they stamp their foot and they don't get their own way, then they start doing more bitchiness. And then they go back to want to reach out, olive branch, olive branch, olive branch, olive branch, olive branch. Oh my God, how many olive branches have we all heard about? Give it a rest with the olive branches. They are faux royals. I mean, whether the titles will ever be taken, I don't know. I think that unfortunately it's just become synonymous with that pair of losers. The titles Duke and Duchess of Sussex is become meaningless. I mean, just looking at her as an image of a woman, I mean, she just does very little. She says nothing of any importance. She wears incredibly boring and ill-fitting clothes. They go to like the weirdest of places for the weirdest of reasons. Wouldn't it have been marvellous if, for example, when they left the royal family, that, and I've said this many times before, that they had bought, say, a ranch in the middle of nowhere, and they'd got their own phones out, their own camcorders, and they could have filmed them developing their life in private. And oh look, there's Archie playing with feeding some animals or something, and Harry building a log cabin, and them designing it and talking about it. And then after 2 or 3 years of all that, then they could have released that to Netflix, and everybody would go, that's wonderful, look at them, little family living in the middle of nowhere with their children, with nature, building a property. But oh no, I mean, it's, if anybody out there can't see it, there's some sort of serious mental health issues going on with those two. Well, they've got to be daft. I see some woman, forget her name now, she's done a Daily Mail article today about, oh, please invite Harry and Meghan back into the royal family for their wedding anniversary. What? Are you crazy? I mean, really? So the royal family have come under tremendous abuse and false allegations for years. They're racist, they're cruel, and then they are supposed to apologise and invite Meghan and Harry back in. Are you insane? Well, the woman's got to be deluded or insane or being paid. I don't know which. I'll try and dig the article out, put it in the comments. I think that the only wedding anniversary present that they're going to get is probably a letter from his accountant saying the money's run even lower. How are we going to pay for all this? What are we going to do for a living? I suppose hence the threat of selling a book about Meghan's memoirs. No one's going to believe it. She could come out with the most outrageous things she likes now. Nobody is going to believe it. Oh, it just goes from bad to worse with these two, doesn't it? Anyway, thank you very much for listening. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Do you think Harry regrets it? Deep down inside, I mean, I know that pride's messing with him, and it's tough to admit that he was wrong and that he ignored all the warnings. I mean, her own brother wrote a letter, which on reflection, oh, it looks like something out of Nostradamus, doesn't it? a prophecy of doom. And did you know that their wedding anniversary is the anniversary of Anne Boleyn being beheaded? What a peculiar date to choose. As always.